Based on Aqua's reaction when the towel falls off from Kazuma, you can tell he's not packing such a brag-worthy holy sword. That face and that moment, one of the highlights, I think, in either of the KonoSuba seasons. This guy is just... At times you want to root for Kazuma, and then other times you want to watch him fall, crash, and burn. This episode was really interesting. I didn't talk about last week, because last week was my birthday, so I missed on the Wednesday videos. But last week was a great episode. But they get out of their debt. They actually came out on top. So I was interested if they were going to start this week's episode immediately screwing him over. And they didn't for the most part. I mean, sure, he definitely had some humiliation this episode, but at the core, he's still at his top of his game, though only time will tell how long that will last, because we've seen him time and time again come out on top and then go right back down to the bottom, and sometimes even worse than he was at before. This episode was pretty interesting, watching him pretty much have this business with the enemy from last week, one of the Demon King's minions there, who's no longer a part of him. I forget his name, but the mask-wearing guy. But he pretty much says, let's get into a business. How about you give me the ideas from items from your world, and we'll sell them in our world. And he makes a little table that has like the cloth over it and it has the heat under. I forgot what they're called there, but they're heavily used in Japan. But he makes one of those and he's just kind of like a smug prick. He's just sitting down there. He just doesn't want to leave, and of course the girls just are gonna troll him, throw him out of the window. The typical banter we would expect with KonoSuba. But I liked how afterwards he goes and picks up his new weapons. He gets this new katana. It's really cool. He also has this badass armor, and you're just like, wow, he's actually become that hero he wanted to be since the first time he was there. And I just love how slowly, but then also kind of fastly, they ruin it for him. He can't move in his armor, it's too heavy. Well, at least he has a badass sword. Well, when he wears his sword, he just knocks everything over, so we're gonna have to shorten the sword, which plays an even bigger factor when we see the end, that he's just trying to compensate for his smaller sword down below. But I loved how it just slowly gets worse for him, not in a major way, but enough that drives him insane. I loved how they did that, and then seeing how he just has a dagger, then Megami names it to something he doesn't want. That was just an entertaining dynamic they had there. I just loved how they didn't go like completely insane. Like if they would have just immediately said, all right, you're back in debt, it wouldn't be that funny or entertaining because we just came off that. So I like how instead they're progressing him in a smaller way that really just only affects him. But they do go on a new quest this week, and I have to say, watching how it slowly fell apart, how they had to kill like these ridiculous creatures, the way they ran was hilarious, and I love how basic their animation was. It made it even more funny, but I love how they have this elaborate plan. It sounds good, you know, if they come here, we'll use Megami to basically kill all these remaining, we'll have Aqua back us up. If they get too close, you know, Darkness, come in there and just take them out. I'm a sniper. It had a good plan, and then it all falls apart, mainly due to Aqua, but also because Kazuma stole some of Megami's magic, so she couldn't actually use her explosion magic. But I liked how that all played out. I thought the new enemy they used for this hunt was really clever, really stupid, but really funny at the same time. But one of the best parts of the episode had to be when he was sitting in the afterlife for like the third time at this point, and he's just thinking, you know what, I don't have the girl that I'm going after, the girl that I'm doing everything for, but she could be it. And then he decides, you know what, screw these people, I'm going to just say screw it, I want to be reborn as a baby, but make sure I got a cute older and younger stepsister. This guy just has no chill, but of course he ends up going back because apparently Megami was doing something to him, and when that happened, I figured it was just a way for them to get Kazuma to go back to his life, and you see them crying and sad because they do all like Kazuma. They might troll the guy, but they do have feelings in terms of at least a friendship for the guy. But when I saw that she wrote on Kazuma pointing down to his junk, I was actually a little surprised. I wasn't expecting she actually did something, but I loved how afterwards she just runs off to her friend's house because she can't be in the same house with them. But I just really like this season, mainly because they're escalating the comedy in such a way that I really appreciate. And I've mentioned this before, season 1 it was hilarious, but I felt at times they were staying a little too true to the genre of this type of comedy, this fantasy world, one world to another world's fantasy comedy. But I like how in season 2 they're just kind of going above and beyond. They does have similarities to the comedy in season 1, but I do think they escalate it, and also just the way they'll kind of tone it down but still make it funny. Like the concept of not throwing Kazuma back into a shitty situation after he just came out on top. Instead, they just kind of humiliate him in minor ways. I like how they're balancing out the comedy and just the torture to Kazuma and his group this season. I think it's a really interesting dynamic, and just the animation has just been so funny to me, especially when they go simplistic on purpose, like those creatures and the way they're running, and just sometimes Aqua's facial details. It's really fun, but I did like how they brought back the pause when Aqua's having her breakout there. That was really entertaining, but this was definitely one of the most entertaining episodes of KonoSuba so far. I mean, I just loved everything about it. It was simple, it was funny, it had just a lot of high moments, and I'm really interested to see where they ultimately go with this. And as I know, they haven't confirmed the episode count with this. I would assume they're probably going to go a 12 episode this season. I doubt they're going to do a 2-core. Maybe they will. I would be surprised if they did go that route, but I'm expecting it's going to be 12 episodes. But I can definitely say around the halfway mark now, this has been a great season. I'm really having a blast with this. The character dynamics are even more silly and insane, and I do like how this has been more just kind of almost like episodic. We're just going on new quests each week, but I still really like that. I feel like it's still feeling fresh and refreshing kind of a thing. But I'm really having a lot of fun with this episode, but I'm interested to hear what people thought. How funny did you find this episode? Because I'm expecting a lot are going to have a lot of fun with that final scene with Kazuma and his holy sword. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And before you leave, hit that like button if you did enjoy the video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.